I hear you all been busy. Is that true? I thought so. And you know how I can tell? I can tell by the number of heads in this room and the energy that goes with it, right? But the bigger giveaway is the excitement from all of you about our industry. We're back. We're back to it, and we're ready. We are ready to embrace new technologies, ready to make sense of the evolving consumer, ready to adapt our offerings and our services to new consumer behaviors, to the very circumstances and the places that are bringing people out and about, where they're congregating, like here. We are ready to reimagine convenience services. And that is what brings us together today. And maybe a good time with seeing each other, once again after 2 years, right? So, you know, throughout the year, we're on the road a lot, or we try to be. And we, by that I mean of the elected leaders, your colleagues on our NAMA board, and my staff colleagues, we try to visit as many of you as we can. And that hasn't been really easy the last couple of years. We had to get creative. But in the last few months, we have redoubled our efforts. And we've been able to get back out on the road. We have visited operators in several states. We've been in Texas. We've been in Florida. We've been in Pennsylvania. I think just yesterday, right here in Illinois. You've probably seen our photos all over social media, or maybe right behind us. And we're planning to do much more of this in the coming months, so stay tuned. We might be coming to a city or a town near you, and we would look forward to visiting with you. We also talk to you throughout the year when you show up at committee meetings and work group meetings, regional events, whatever the case may be. Connecting with you one-on-one, especially in your own businesses, face-to-face, is really the best way to keep pace with the industry. When we see you like that, we have a chance to unpack things like, where do you see opportunity? What are your pain points? What do you want or need to do? What are you aspiring to do? And how can NAMA help you do that? So interestingly, there was a consistency to the response that we got this year. What did you tell us? There's so much opportunity, and so much of it is different. You have been asking us, or telling us, but really asking us, how do you take what you're currently doing, whether it be micro markets or other forms of unattended retail and self-service, or even pantry services, curated, and how do you make that a better version of what you're already doing? A better version of convenience services for your existing clients. Also, how do you take what you're already the master of and put that into different places and different spaces and different customer groups? Well, until recently, nobody had the answer to that question. But it was so consistent and burning, we went to work to get smarter about it. And so we turned to some of the leading thinkers, both within and outside the industry, to get help in thinking through these answers. We looked and listened to what consumers were telling us and how they were behaving. We listened to retail pundits. We talked to leaders in commercial real estate and in the HR sector, manufacturers of consumer goods of all types, technologists, lots of technologists. And then we talked to more thinkers in this industry about what we had learned, what we had observed, and what we thought it could all mean. We put a whole lot of energy into figuring out what might work for convenience services. And we came up with some answers. Well, or at least some ideas. And not just that. We're going to show you, beyond ideas, we're going to show you what it can look like when you put a micro market or a self-service retail outlet of any type, your curated pantry, into a different venue, as well as your current client sites. I'm not doing this justice. I know we've been building this up. We're not just going to show you. We're literally going to turn you loose in a convenience services playground. so that you can experience it, immerse yourselves in it. So imagine with me for a minute an unattended store and a train station, a self-service cafe and a medical testing device in a senior living center, a micromarket and a package distribution hub in an apartment building or a campus dorm, again, completely unattended. All of this is right here at the NAMA show. In fact, right through those doors and around the corner. We call this new feature Imagination Way. So I hope you brought your imagination with you, because you can touch screens. You can see these really cool new solutions. You can experiment, you can ask questions. I hope you'll envision the possibilities, but be prepared to be inspired and to imagine, to reimagine the future of convenience services and of your business. And by the way, you're going to be in good company, because we have also invited some of your potential partners from the industries that can benefit from your services. Places that are seeing an uptick in footfall. Transit, transportation, think train, airport, truck stops, multi-unit housing, healthcare facilities, including senior, and of course, hospitality, travel, hotel, motel, and lodging. And when we began inviting these channels to our show, it turns out they're just as interested in learning about you as you might be about them. Opportunity and timing on this is good. So I have to say, building imagination has been a whole lot of fun. And I hope that you enjoy it and it inspires you as much as it did us in bringing this back to our first live show after 2 years. But it's not the only thing that we've been up to since I saw you last. While you, our members, have been out there doing the really hard work to keep your customers happy and the industry moving forward, NAMA has, as always, been working continually on your behalf to envision the road ahead. And we're not alone in imagining what the industry could become. I talked to you about some of the customer groups that are here to dream with you, the value it could bring, and also how the future of the workplace can be driven to new heights, as well as our communities. In times of profound change, when industries are really taking off, like this one is, it can draw the interest of a lot of groups, including policymakers. You know I had to go there, right? Most often their intent is good. They're trying to help or solve a problem for someone. But if their help gets in the way of innovation or makes it harder for our operators to do the right things for their customers and grow their businesses, it creates a problem for us. And when they renege on their promises, that creates a really big problem. So to be sure, we believe there are things that lawmakers and other entities who are interested in our industry could do to help us. Things that could streamline some of the innovation that you're about to experience. So let me give you some examples. Many of you have taken up the call to offer a broader, more reliable selection of better-for-you foods and beverages, or to invest in greener technology, like electric vehicles and ozone-friendly vending equipment. But there's still a lot to learn before we have the handle on best practices, right, and efficiencies, and how to make it work, right? Do you think that we might be able to get there sooner if government or insurance companies could make it more financially viable for us to do the needed experimentation? We think so. Here's another example. You know that convenience services can help drive a return to what we call congruent space, like in downtown areas where governments and employers are looking to encourage people back to their offices. So doesn't it seem like a win-win for these governments to incentivize the use of convenience services in these areas by easing up a little on what it costs to build out client locations or install new and upgraded equipment or offer upgraded amenities? We think so. And we believe through our advocacy work, these and other things are possible to your benefit. Now, if you were listening closely a second ago, you may have noticed that I mentioned it's a big problem when the government reneges on promises. In this case, I was referring to the Employee Retention Tax Credit, the ERTC. Mark was talking about me dreaming about convenience services. I pretty much dreamed this acronym. About 100 of you showed up in Washington last fall to make your case on Capitol Hill for restoration of the ERTC for fourth quarter 2021 because the government had clawed back those 3 months of funding. It wasn't the largest gathering of any industry on Capitol Hill. It wasn't even our largest gathering on Capitol Hill. But it was one of the first to come back face-to-face to meet with Congress since the pandemic started. And it was extraordinarily productive. We met with elected officials in 84 offices, which is a lot of meetings in one day. Your feet will tell you if you've been through that. And they listened. As a direct outcome of the NAMA Fly-In and Advocacy Summit, 2 bills, one in the Senate and one in the House, are now working their way through Congress. And the effort that started with 100 of you in Washington has mushroomed. This effort, led by NAMA when no other trade association in Washington would take up the charge, now includes dozens of trade associations representing all manner of small business. Some of the largest, best-funded public policy shops in Washington have joined NAMA's coalition to reinstate ERTC for the fourth quarter of 2021. And we continue to push for this outcome, and we will not relent until there is no more hill to climb, literally and figuratively. ERTC is emblematic of the posture that we envision for the NAMA public policy agenda through a framework that we call transformative advocacy. Advocacy with high impact. We are laser focused on driving initiatives that will give you the most benefit, like gaining competitive advantage in places where people are coming together today, in spaces that are traditional to our channel and new. And that's why we have organized Imagination Way to represent those spaces. Those relationships and our advocacy on your behalf are what will transform our business. And that's why we're hosting these folks here at the show. Transformative advocacy also means that we're actively working to give others every reason to view us favorably as a leader and a partner in solving societal problems and supporting the greater good. It's being on the front foot when it comes to some of these things. It's why we launched the Public Health Initiative more than a year ago. It was in 2019. To get out ahead of shifting public and government views on this issue and to meet increasing consumer demand for better for you, ethically sourced types of products. And finally, our ambitious advocacy agenda envisions a role for NAMA to help you serve long-term systemic labor and employment challenges, to make this industry the place where people want to work and seek to work. The idea is to remove friction from your existing places, spaces, and customer groups, that you can more easily pursue the really big and exciting things that you're about to experience in Imagination Way. Yeah, we're just a little excited about this new adventure. Can you tell? It's because, A, I said it was brilliant and fun and exciting to build and to imagine the future for you. And it's because we see all roads running through it and to it. Literally, you have to walk through it to get into the exhibit hall. It's like the duty-free zone. But it's a metaphor. It really does represent an exciting way forward. So, now I want to bring you back to the top of my remarks and back to the questions that you asked us to answer in all those conversations we had. How do I create a better version of my business for my traditional customers? How do I take that gold and deliver it into different venues? How do I grow my business in a post-pandemic new world order? After talking to leaders in other industries, and especially after looking at consumer behavior and listening to you and how everything has changed, I feel so encouraged that your questions were the right questions at exactly the right time. I feel so privileged that you trusted NAMA with the important task of investigating it, analyzing what we heard, and then packaging it in a way that is most beneficial to you in plotting the way forward. If I had to summarize everything we learned throughout this last 12 months, 24 months, it's this: convenient services driven by consumers and enabled by technology is the solution that meets this moment. Its time has come. Our time has come. And its rise is inevitable. And our mastery of customer service and last mile delivery is what will set us apart from the others. I can only imagine what this great industry is going to create. So go get it.